So before leaving Pine Grove Furnace State Park, there's one more place to visit, and that's the Appalachian Trail Museum. It's just down the road a little bit from the Iron Masters Hostel, and it's really it's a small but really well appointed museum, and it's chock full of information about the trail and its history. There's all kinds of things from an original shelter to the one of the original Katahdin signs that was up there for many years to the materials that the early hikers and through hikers used. There's information about Grandma Gatewood, who's one of the probably one of the best known figures on the Appalachian Trail, including some of the stuff that she used on her through hike. And then there's information about Earl Schaefer, who was the first through hiker who in 1948 really surprised everybody because until he did it, nobody thought that it could be done. So it was a great visit to the museum, and the volunteers there were spectacular. They're just so lovely, so informative and welcoming, and I just had a great time. Oh, how I love a state park. Look at this grade. This is amazing. Oh my gosh, my feet are in heaven, and I'm not trying to catch my breath. Oh, if it could just go on like this, I could definitely be in Maine before I knew it. This would be sweet. But I think I probably have a half mile of this, maybe a little more, and then it's back to rock hopping and mountain climbing. But it sure is nice. Sure is a nice little break. Look how beautiful this is. It's so hard to get this, but the sun is just right. I've tried to get many a spider web on film, but with the sun at this angle, there we go. And it's connected to these two trees. How beautiful is that? It's a very long spider web. Look at that. We're entering the Cumberland Valley. So this is the beautiful town of Boiling Springs, Pennsylvania. It's I'm walking on the Appalachian Trail right now. It goes through this beautiful park in town, and the town is very hiker friendly. It's not huge, but it's as everything a hiker needs. And they're really nice to have a little tenting area for hikers to set up just outside of town. The one suggestion I do have for the town is to find a different site because this is what I heard all night long. That's my tent. This is in the morning, but every hour in the evening this went on. So it was hard to get some sleep. So there's a much different feel now that we're in the north, and it's interesting because it's still very beautiful, but it's just a very different kind of terrain. And what I'm noticing right away is that there's just so much more civilization. And it's interesting, if you look at the topographical map of the Appalachian Trail, you'll see that in the south and in the New England area, there's just so much more forest and natural woods that the Appalachian Trail goes through. But in the mid-Atlantic states, starting with Maryland, I guess, and going up through Massachusetts, even there's just tiny slivers, and the Appalachian Trail goes through these kind of hops over to these little tiny slivers of state parks and whatnot. And so what you get are these corridors like I'm going through now, where they're beautiful, but they're really just kind of these little way stations in between civilization. The nice side of it is that we can stop and get food and supplies and much in much greater quantities. I mean, there's just so many more options to stop and get food and whatnot along the way. There's a lot of road crossings, but it doesn't have that wilderness feel that you had in the South, particularly down in Georgia, North Carolina. So it's Father's Day, and I wanted to wish all of you fathers out there a very special and wonderful day. But there's one person in particular I wanted to reach out to, and that's my dad. Um, if you followed me for a while, you know that I did something special for Mother's Day for my mom, and I've been racking my brain thinking, what am I going to do for my dad? And I realized that my brothers and I have no problem telling my dad all the negative things we've inherited. Whether it be poor circulation in our legs to short attention span, no problem telling him that. But we've never really told him, or I never have at least, told him all the positive things that I've inherited. So I thought, why don't I list a few of those for Father's Day? And so the first thing is my father's laugh and sense of humor. Um, my father's laughter is like nothing you've ever heard before. It's so infectious and can fill a room. You can walk into a room, and when my father's on, everybody is gravitated toward him. Um, but with his sense of humor, too, he has a way of diffusing situations. I've watched my father in tense situations diffuse it completely with his sense of humor that is respectful to everybody, but yet lets everybody know how ridiculous a situation may be, and then they all laugh at it. It's really quite amazing, and I've inherited a little bit of that, and so I'm very grateful for that. The second thing is my dad is a master storyteller. I've watched my dad my entire life weave stories, and he's a master at it. And it's been interesting doing these videos now to have so many of you have written to me and said that I'm a good storyteller. I hadn't even thought of it, doing these videos in that way, and I recognize that if indeed that's true, it's all from my father. And the last thing is my father's empathy. Um, my father has an innate ability to make others feel what he's feeling and to feel others' emotion. And it's a real gift, I realize now, to be able to do that. And because people can relate to you, and they recognize that in a very honest and genuine way, you're connecting with people. And my father has that. I have it a little bit. I'm trying to get better at it. And but I'm really blessed to have a dad that's given me such amazing gifts. I recognize now at my age just how rare some of them are. And so, Dad, I thank you for these and all the gifts you've given me. I love you, and I wish you a very special Father's Day.